You're a wrestler.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden you're in a managerial role.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're with the Truth Commission and the Human Oddities. I mean, you got to be thinking, what the fuck is going on here?
I was thinking that. And the Oddities thing, the way it happened was they said, we're going to give you a new guy because you're getting over as a manager. I said, okay, who am I getting?
You were.
And they said, well, we got 3 guys coming in. You're going to get one of them. I said, who are they? They said, Al Snow, Steven Regal, and John Tenta. And I went, oh. And they're like, do you have a preference? I said, I am a huge mark for Steven Regal. I fucking love that guy. But I go, I think Al Snow, because he was doing the head gimmick in ECW. I'm like, you could do like an interpromotional thing where he's bringing the head out, but then the next week the head's got long hair. Then eventually the head's got the gimmick on his head. And it's like cross promotional, and he comes and we go back and forth. I'm like, boy, that'd be awesome. I said, because I need a technician. I've got all the giants. I need a technician. Yeah, we can't do that. I said, okay, can I have Regal? Oh, Regal, you know? Yeah, no, you're getting Tenta. Well, why'd you ask me then, right? I'm like, okay, Earthquake, awesome. Grew up watching him. He's not going to be Earthquake. He's going to have a mask and he's going to have a humpback. I said, why does he have a humpback, Vince? This is Russo. Well, because I've been told that if he has a humpback, he's always got one shoulder up and can't be pinned. So I'm like, so you're ribbing the guy. So then so we're doing promos one day. I'm sitting in the back with Russo. And he's like, where are your guys? I'm like, they're coming. I got like 5 guys now, all giants, right? So they're all coming down the hall one after the other. And then Luna was with us too. And Russo looks and he goes, Jesus Christ. And I go, yeah. And they're all walking like single file. And I meant it as a joke. Like I loved all those guys. I'm like, yeah, I go, we're like a parade of human oddities. And he looks at me and goes, where'd you come up with that? I go, I just said it. He goes, I'll be right back. And all of a sudden it was the Oddities. And it was like, it was Russo's pet project. And the segment that has been called the worst segment in the history of WWF, which was me with the Howard Stern freaks, which was unbelievably bad. And was, I think, Hank the Angry Drunken Dwarf and Crackhead Bob. And like, those guys were, I don't know if they're drunk, high, messed up, whatever it was, but it's like, they basically put me out there with them. And it's like, cut a promo. So I'm like, how am I going to work this? So I came up with this idea that my character was such an asshole that he would take these people who are messed up and put them on TV to get attention for himself. So I again wrote 5-6 weeks of TV, and we actually brought in a girl I knew from Detroit who was an exotic dancer who had size 88 breasts, Rachel Rockets. And I had her come out and with a white tank top on with these huge, gigantic things that said "smells like ratings," and then she had another T-shirt that said "Jackal me off" on the chest. so anyway, I'm like, okay, so I'm exploiting. So I actually booked these 2 guys who have a genetic disorder in Mexico. They're called the Werewolf Brothers. They're covered head to toe. I bring them in as a tag team. And I had all these freaks that I'm like, okay, Russo, you want to do this? We're going to do this. And it'll lead to, I'm trying to make lemonade, right, in a sense. And then all of a sudden it was just off. And it was like, okay, we're not doing this anymore. But it was a terrible, terrible segment. And I took heat over that segment too, because it was like everyone knew it was a disaster. And it was, I remember Bradshaw saying to me, we're in Winnipeg and for a house show right after that. And I think I was playing crib with someone back when people played crib, another thing from the business. And Bradshaw came in, he goes, Jackal, that was the worst goddamn thing I've ever seen in my life. And I looked at him, I went, you're looking at me like I came up with the idea. I just had to go do it, right?
Well, I give you credit because every time you say something, you're always ready to get over. It doesn't make a shit. I mean, you ain't afraid of no.
That's what life's about. So here was the other funny thing about the Oddities. So it's dead now. Now they bring us back, and Vince Russo goes, oh, we're putting Sable with the Oddities. I'm like, whoa, we're getting a push now, right? Oh yeah, it's going to be a huge push. You're not with the group anymore. I'm like, what? They're like, Vince thinks you're too talented for these guys. I'm like, yeah, but they're going on the road making money and I'm sitting on my ass. So I'd rather not be talented and make the money. But how Kurgan turned into an oddity was after the WrestleMania where you took the belt from Shawn and then Mike Tyson. I'm at the after party and Kurgan's there with his wife. And Kurgan says, my wife's going to have me dance. I'm going to get up and dance. I'm sure you'll have a laugh. I go, dude, don't do it. He's like, why? I go, don't let Vince see you up dancing. And he's like, well, my wife wants me to dance, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, don't do it. He got up and he's dancing, disco dance, whatever. He's pretty good. But I'm not watching him. I'm watching Vince. And I saw Vince catch the eye. And I'm like, he's not a giant anymore. And within a month, he was in a tuxedo dancing. And then that's the night I learned, don't ever do anything in front of Vince that you don't want to do in front of millions of people.
Who's doing the dancing?
Kurgan.
Hey, whatever happened to Kurgan?
Had a successful run as an actor. He's been in a bunch of big movies. He's actually done really well. I talked to him about 6 months ago. Honestly, I can say maybe the nicest guy with the best heart I've ever met in the business. Just a super guy who probably, he's a tall guy who had a great look and probably should have gone further as a wrestler, but I think they rushed him a little bit.